Hello, this is Haskuu of Haskuu Gaming Inc. and I'm going to make a video here. As you can probably already see, I was put into the Silver League for the 4th season of 2013. And I was not actually able to give you a video right when I got it because I was having some serious audio synchronization problems with Fraps when I first recorded this video, which I have since hopefully resolved. I've done a few tests and they seem to be fixed. So I'm going to be showing you the video, the game that got me Silver League, which is my most recent game right here, which is me against Bugs Bunny. So let's jump right into this game. It's a nice, interesting game. I like it. It features Bugs Bunny as the Protoss in the blue, up in the top right corner, and I will be playing as Terran in the red in the bottom left corner. So I'll just be trying to cover everything I can. I've already done this once, so I know a little bit more than I did originally about how this game plays out. But I'll try not to put in too many spoilers here, so. And now as we're just waiting here for the game to load up, this marks both the end of my Bronze to Silver series and the beginning of... Why is it so slow? Why is it going so slowly? It doesn't make sense. I have 30 FPS. There we go, that's better. Okay, anyway, as I was saying, I am now going to start my Silver to Gold series. However, I have never before actually broken out of the Bronze League, and that has finally happened, so that's a plus. So as we can see here, we're both not really doing much as of right now, because no one ever does anything right now. It's interesting. A lot of players will go for a pylon on 9 if they're playing Protoss. This guy isn't. It's not really a huge deal. It's just a little thing that some people prefer to do. Here you can see me on 10 SCVs. I am going to be building my supply depot, and which is a little odd. This is just a reflex that I have. I'm going to be rallying that SCV back to the mineral line, even though it doesn't go there. When it finishes, I will actually just go straight back to here. So let's speed this game up a little bit. This guy's very excited, as we can see from... Wrong menu. This. Yeah. So we've got a little bit of friendly banter back and forth. He just finished his pylon there. His second pylon. His first pylon was right there. And now he's finished up his gateway. He's getting double gas. And he's working on his cybernetics core. Meanwhile, I only have one gas, which will stay with me for most of this game, or for most of the first 10 minutes of this game at least. Possibly the whole 10 minutes. It's kind of embarrassing. I forget to get any gas. So we can see here there will be a proxy pylon poised to hit me with some warped in units as he sees fit. And I did not bother to check for proxy because that's not something I tend to see a lot of. And here we see my scout. I see a good amount of stuff. It's not anything that'll make me suspicious of a proxy, really. I see these 3 pylons giving all of this plenty of power. I see, the cyber core working on warp gate. That's to be expected. I see the forge, not really anything to worry about. 3 gate, not a problem. All this stuff that's fairly normal. And then he has this down here. So all of this fairly normal stuff can actually be harnessed for evil. But in this case, I didn't really expect anything. So we can see I'm taking my expansion here. And I've got all of my my army units down at this lower ramp now because I don't want to die. We can also see I'm working on the tech lab on this factory, which will soon be producing the siege tanks. So just add a little bit of protection on. And now I'm getting, yeah, I grabbed 2 more gas when I got that expansion because I realized that I just didn't have any gas. So we can see a sizable stalker force right here. A lot of stalkers. And we can also see this observer, which I didn't know about at the time, but we can see this observer just was able to see everything I was doing. So he actually tricks me here. He starts running back to his base, and then in reality he runs back to his pylon so we can get more forces. And then he just continues to aggressively push against me here, which is not very good for him because, you know, I still have the army that can beat him. And once I get this siege tank up into siege mode, there's not really a whole lot more he can do, because, you know, he'll do that and then I'll just hit him with siege tank shells. And the event of this siege tank is in large part responsible for the end of that aggression, because, simply put, you can't really, you know, you can't attack siege tank position with stalkers. It doesn't work very well. So we can see him pulling all the way back here. So if we look at the production tab, I'm working on medevacs. I'm working on my fusion core for some battle cruisers later on. Meanwhile, he's getting a robotics bay for his Colossus. I'm still keeping up with my Marine Marauder production. He's starting his mothership core, and his expansion is almost done. Other than that, there's not really a whole lot going on. My fusion core did just finish, so I'm getting my combat shield, which is my +10 for Marine HP. I'm also getting a lot of stuff now. I'm working on my armory, which will allow me to get stuff like Thor's better upgrades. I'm working on my first battle cruiser, and I'm working on weapon refit, which will give my battle cruisers the Yamato cannon ability. I'm also just working on more general unit stuff. He's working on getting a couple more gas down at this expansion and some basic upgrades. I believe it's U for the units tab. We can see I have more workers than he does right now. Or no, he has more workers than I do. I always assume I'm Protoss. But I have fewer workers than he does, but I can always make up for that with mules, and I'm actually catching up to him in workers. And he sees this push that I'm preparing to make here because of this observer. So I'm starting to make a big push out towards him. He has 1 Colossus, 18. So he has a bunch of stalkers, a Colossus, and a mothership core, and a couple of Immortals. So the Immortals will be pretty good against the siege tanks that I've got here. I see the Colossus there at the last second. Unfortunately, I don't have a whole lot of good units to counter a Colossus, and they managed to destroy most of my army before I can destroy most of theirs. But as you can see here, I still have what I need to combat them, especially with this medevac here, which is able to fight them directly. Unfortunately, we have the planetary nexus here, with the nexus attack enabled, which almost takes down my battlecruiser, and then they finally do destroy that final battlecruiser, and also this siege tank, which wasn't really well positioned in the first place. So I am left with this, which scouts this, which is interesting. I believe at that point, that is when that is scouted, yes. Yeah, that medevac running away from him scouted that, which I think is a little bit funny that he actually kind of brought about the scouting of that. Although at that point, it wasn't necessary. He had no reason for that to exist other than a little bit of supply, maybe a little bit of potential later game, but there was no real reason for it to exist past that. So it wasn't really as huge a blow as I might let on for that to have existed. Now we're seeing me producing a Raven here, which causes the instant destruction of that because it's cloaked. The only thing stopping me from destroying it was my lack of detection. We're also seeing now I've got all 4 gas. I actually have all 6 gas, and this should be going over to an orbital command before too long. I know I have the minerals for it, and I'm not making anything with it. So if you look at production again, I'm working on my infantry armor and weapons. I'm working on better Raven stuff, even though spoilers, that Raven is useless. It gets killed pretty quickly. But I'm also working on better battlecruiser starting energy, all this stuff, just little things. I'm also working on my ship weapons upgrades, and I'm just making more battlecruisers because at this point in the game I'm like locked into battlecruisers. That's all I'm really thinking about right now is how can I maximize my battlecruiser efficiency, which isn't really the best thing for me to be thinking about in this game because he has a lot of stalkers. Battlecruisers aren't the best against things that can shoot them. Also, as we can see here, he's got his how many stargates is that? His dual stargate up, producing void rays that are an ideal counter to battlecruisers, really, because they do so much damage to armored units. So we can see I'm marching right in here, no fear, and here come his void rays ready to annihilate me. That's how this battle goes, basically. He destroys all of my battlecruisers. Or almost all, actually. I didn't realize this battle. Okay, so I tend to, in this game, it seems like I'm tending to almost get into his base a little bit, and then have to withdraw. So we can see I'm also starting my Thor production, as you can see from that finished one there. And I've got another battlecruiser that's not rallied because I set all my rallies to one of my battlecruisers, and they all died. So we can see I'm doing some Thor production here. I'm doing a little bit of Viking production to replace my medevac production because look at all these okay, I had more before that attack. But I used to have a lot of medevacs. We can also see I am far oversaturated on this base because this one already mined out. This base is at this point useless to me for minerals. Both those are mined out. I have no minerals left. So I've got this, which is almost saturated, and it's starting to mine out too. We can see I'm doing a scan, and I'm just doing scans around this area, finding out how many void rays he has, all that kind of thing, so that I can see what will I need for Vikings. And I need some Vikings. I'm also starting at this point Banshees, just to add a little bit to that last attack, a little bit anti-ground, and we can see I've scanned this little hidden base he was trying to do. I don't know that it was supposed to be a hidden base, considering, you know, it's technically an extension of that, but this would be this, and then this would really probably be my base, so it would probably go this, and this for him, rather than this and this. So that's a little unusual, but I managed to clean that up with all of my Marines. And then they're just going to run back. And I'm getting a little bit of a stall here, I'm not sure why. Not a whole lot's happening, other than these Marines running around. That's better. And so we see he's supply blocked for the moment. He's heavily supply blocked, actually, because I just took out his Nexus, so he was actually supplied in a supply deficit at that point. So we can see his continued production of void rays. Now he has 8 versus my how many? When we can see I'm actually preparing to make a final push here. So let's look at the number. Actually, no, we'll look at the numbers a little bit later. But we can see he has 8 void rays against my 10 Viking, 5 Thor, 2 battlecruiser, 20 Marine. I'm just listing off the units that can attack those void rays. So the Viking are the main thing, though, and to a certain extent the Thor. The Thor is very good for void rays, actually, because they have a tendency of stacking up. So we can see I'm going to pause right as I get to about like this point, I'd say. Yeah, no. Yeah, right as I get to about this point, I'm going to pause. I actually never knew about this base. Oh, did I know about it? That would be embarrassing if I just said I didn't know about it, and then it turned out okay, yeah, I did know about it, but I didn't care. Because, okay, here. So we can see, I have 10 Vikings. He has 10 Void Rays. Okay, let's just go straight down the numbers. I have 72 SCVs to his 46 probes, because I have more bases than him. But a lot of these SCVs, I also have 12 SCVs here repairing all of my heavy mech. I have 4 medevacs, 5 Thors, 3 Banshees, 10 Vikings, 1 Siege Tank, because that's just leftover, 12 Marauders, 22 Marines, and 2 Battlecruisers. The main thing here are the Marines and the Vikings. The Marines and the Vikings, obviously, against the Immortals, the Stalkers, and the Void Race. The Thors, the Vikings, the Banshees, the Battlecruisers, and, well, the Marauders are actually more against the Stalkers, but the Thors, the Banshees, the Battlecruisers, and the Vikings against the Colossus. So let's start up this game once more. At this point I'm committed to this attack. We can see here we're pretty much done with this game at this point. I don't think there's anyone who doubts that. So we can see I'm cleaning up. I cleaned up his entire army there. I've got my cloaked Banshees, and I'll just slow this down a little bit. I should have slowed it down before the battle, but it wasn't. It was a fairly one-sided battle. We can see the Thors really won the day there. It was just the existence of my Thors against, and there we see the GG. I didn't have time to type my response GG, so that was the end of the game. So there you go. And that is how you get into Silver League. If that's your placement match, and you were at the right amount of points and all that, that's not how you get into Silver League. You get into Silver League by winning a lot of games. But that is the game that got me into Silver League. So that's going to be this video. I hope you enjoyed. This marks both the end of Bronze to Silver and the start of Silver to Gold. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Thank you for watching.